agency nurse can earn from? Do you want to make more money, or are you thinking of how you can make extra money? I've got so many questions about people asking me how can they work as an agency nurse in the UK, even if you're not an agency nurse, as agency carer. This video is for you. Watch to the end. My name is Gloria. Welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, or if you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe. Press the subscribe button down below just to make us grow more. So today's video, we're going to be talking about agency nursing, and I'm going to be telling you everything: how you can make more money, how you can become an agency nurse, what you should consider, the disadvantages and the advantages. So let's get into it. So who is an agency nurse? Sometimes they call themselves self-employed, who just work for nobody but can work for anybody. So as an agency nurse, there's usually an agent, different agencies, a lot of them in the UK. They will employ nurses, employ carers, and then send them to places where nurses or carers are needed. So let's focus on agency nurses. Those agencies, they are allowed to recruit nurses or recruit workers. Actually, you may not know your employer at all. So what they do is they usually get your CV, maybe do police clearance, get to know you online, do interview if they want to do interview, ask you questions, and then once you're allowed to work with them, some of them have ID card, uniform, and then they have their app. So they'll give you the access to get into this app where they will post jobs. Every day you see jobs coming in, jobs that will be needed tomorrow. So for instance, in my care home, if I'm short tomorrow of one nurse or one carer, I'll phone that agency, or I'll go to the app and I'll put up a job that I request so person, and I'll put the amount I'm going to pay that person. And then what you will do as an agency nurse or an agency carer is you will go to that particular day and you pick that shift. So once you've picked that shift, you're allowed to go in and work in that place, care home, or if you're under hospital. Then what are the requirements for being an agency nurse or an agency carer? Let's just say, what are the requirements for being an agency nurse? You need to have had 6-month post-registration experience. That means after you've been in the UK, you've worked for 6 months, you've got your PIN, you need to work for at least 6 months before, at least you need that experience. And but when I first came into the country, the first month I was already inquiring about how to be an agency nurse. You need 6 months to be able to be experienced, at least to know the culture, to know how things are being done in the country before you can become an agency nurse. Another requirement is you need to be licensed, you need to have your PIN. So that means you need to have been registered in the UK, you need to be known and to be in the country legally. Sometimes they will ask for your police clearance, you need to have your PVG. It is very easy. That is not even a problem at all. If you're already in the UK, you will know how that works. You just need to fill a form, either online or the hard copy, and then send it away. You or your company will pay for it, and it's not expensive at all. So you need to be free of crime. Some agencies we ask, especially the NHS ones, we ask you for hepatitis B vaccination evidence, rubella. Just ask your agents or your agency what their requirement is, and I'm sure you'll be able to meet up whatever requirement they want if you're really interested. Another requirement is you should already be in the UK. You cannot just come from your country and then you were thinking of just being a full-time agency worker. So we're going to talk about agency nurses, either part-time or full-time. If you're going to be an agency nurse full-time, you should already have your permanent residence, either your citizenship or your indefinite leave to remain, because you know you need to have your visa to rely on. Your agency will not give you visa to work with them. You should already be in the country on one sort of visa or the other and be eligible to work, especially work visa, maybe partner visa, you're a citizen, or you have indefinite leave to remain. So you need to be on another form of visa to work with them. So that means if you're coming as a tier 2 visa holder, you may not be able to work as a full-time. So let's talk about those who are going to be working part-time. That means you're coming under a company, you're still your registered nurse, you're working whatever hours you're working, but please ask from your employer or check your contract to know how many extra hours you're allowed to work. Some employer will tell you you're only allowed to work 20 hours outside their own work hour. So let's say if you're working 3 days with your NHS or with your care home, you're only allowed extra 20 hours. And that is the only extra 20 hours per week that you can work as an agency nurse or agency carer, you see. So you need to make sure you find out, you know what your limitation is and how many hours you're allowed to work outside your contracted job, your contracted hour. You know, coming to the UK on a particular visa, that job that you are giving that visa for should be your priority. It is your most important reason why you're in the country, because without that job you may not have that visa and you may not be in the country. So you need to abide by all the contract rule, all the regulation, and don't allow your agency work to affect your main work, because it is that your main work that brought you into the country, or it is your main work that gives you the visa that you're working with. But if you already have your indefinite leave to remain, or you have your citizenship, you can do agency nursing full time. Nobody is going to hold you. You can work whenever you want to work. So that brings us to what are the advantages and the disadvantages of being an agency nurse. So the advantage of being an agency nurse is, number one, your independence. Like, you can work whenever you want to work, any day you want to work. You can start to work for 1 month, and the next month you don't want to work. You can work today, tomorrow you don't want to work. You can start to work today, tomorrow you cancel the shift you've picked. But if you're canceling too much, there's going to be kind of, you will not have that trust. For instance, if I'm booking a carer or a nurse to come to work in my care home, and that particular person has been cancelling all the time, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, I may not want to invite them, or I may not want to allow them to come and work again, because they can disappoint you at any time. The advantage is that most agencies pay you weekly. Some is every Thursday, so you get your money for that week. How good is that? Another advantage is that you're going to get paid higher than someone who works as a full-time registered nurse. For instance, let's say in my care home, I may be earning, let's say, £10. You as an agency nurse, you can earn 15, 20. We'll get to how much agency nurses actually earn later on, but you will get almost double of what that person who is a registered and a full-time nurse gets. You're going to get paid higher. You're going to have higher pay. Another advantage is that it exposes you to so many experience. Usually if you're within the NHS, you can have so many experience working in different departments, you meet different people. And if you're working in a care home, you get to travel around, you know places, you meet new people, you get to know a lot of things, you have more experience. Like somebody who is working in one care home maybe for the past 2 years, you that has been an agency nurse for 2 years, you've been to different homes, you've met different people, you've experienced a lot of things, you know how to navigate around, you've worked with different companies. It doesn't even have to be the same company that you're working for. You can work for different company, but you know, different settings, and then you have more experience, you have more boldness. Because for instance, I'll tell you, presently I'm not working with agency. I'm not an agency nurse just because of my personal circumstance. I've got young children. I work 4 days a week and 3 days a week the next week already, and I just feel that's enough for me just now. But yes, I've thought about it, and if I have the opportunity, I will. Agency nursing. But one other fear I have is I don't want to go and expose myself to different places, different culture, and different experience where people don't know you. You may go somewhere and they don't like you at all. You may go to another place and they will like you. So I'm just not ready psychologically for that type of stress. Let's get into the disadvantages of being an agency nurse. So let's talk about the disadvantage of being an agency nurse. Number one is you need to be mobile. I will say you should. You don't have to necessarily be mobile, but if you're mobile, it's going to be better for you, because you're going to be posted to different places. They can send you anywhere, but it is left to you to pick those shifts. But sometimes it can be very stressful. Somewhere you go with your car for 15 minutes drive, you can go on the bus for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1.5 hours. So you would need to have a source of like mobility. Otherwise, you're going to be stressed on the road, especially during winter. Sometimes it's not the best decision to go around the town during winter without you having your own car. You may have to wait for bus, train may be cancelled. So it is a lot of stress. Another thing, if you're someone that don't adapt easily, you may find it very difficult to adapt to different culture, going from one place to another. People you've not met before, people that don't know you. Some of them may not even talk to you. Some of them may talk to you. And then you may be more exposed to facing racism at work, facing discrimination. And if you're the type that cannot accommodate, or you're the type that does not like having different people, just different experience, that you're not going to enjoy it at all. It may be very difficult for you. Another disadvantage is no work, no pay. So if you decide that this week I'm going on holiday, or this week I don't want to work, you're not going to get a dime. You're not going to get a penny. You're not going to get pension. You don't get annual leave. You don't get paid maternity leave. You don't get holiday leave. You don't get holiday pay. nothing, no benefits, nothing. You're just working, and whenever you work, you get your money. If you don't work, you don't get your money. That's it. Nobody's going to pay you for your annual leave. Nobody's going to pay you for your pension. Nobody's going to pay you for maternity leave. Nobody's going to pay you for study leave. No benefit, no pension at all. But you can have your private pension if you want. Sometimes you have to spend on fuel, traveling. Some agency will pay for your travel distance as long as you can calculate the miles. They will pay for it, but some will not pay. Sometimes your shift can be cancelled unexpectedly. For instance, let's say my care home, I need one agent and I've already applied for that agent, and you have picked the shift as an agent or as an agency nurse, agency carer. You've picked the shift, and then all of a sudden I get someone else to replace you. Because you're more expensive, I may cancel you from coming. I may just cancel your coming, so you'll not be able to go to that place, and then you may not be able to pick another shift within that short notice. So sometimes you get shift cancelled, so your job is not really stable. So there's no stability. The agency can decide that you may not even get shift sometimes. There's times when, especially during this COVID, during COVID, some agencies were not allowed to go into other care homes. Like some care homes didn't allow agency nurses, agency carers to come into their home because of the transmission of the infection. So during that time, if you're someone that is full-time agency nurse and then you're not able to go anywhere, so that is one of the disadvantages. You may not have job stability, so your job is going to fluctuate. Like sometimes you got have enough money, sometimes you may not have any money. I've seen some agency nurses or agency carers that some place will just decide to keep them as permanent agency. Like if you may be with one agency and then you've gone to one care home or one place and they like you, they like how you work. If they like you, they can request for you to keep coming back all the time, the same place. So you're able to go to the same place all the time. It's possible that you get some care home that will like employ you, not like full staff, but then they will want you to just keep coming back to them. So you're working in that particular place, you can work there for months and months, and which is also good. Before we talk about how much agency nurses, agency carers get paid, I'm going to give you a few tips. The first is you have to be flexible, you have to be accommodating, you need to be open-minded, you need to remove the issue of discrimination, racism from your head. If not, you'll not be able to adapt. You need to just try to just flow. If you go to a place and you don't like it, don't be afraid, speak out, or you don't go back there. You need to learn how to rest as well, because I've seen so many agency nurses, agency carers that come into the country, especially some of my brothers and sisters. They work and work 6 days, day, night, all day. They are working just because of the money. At the end of the day, the more you work, the more tax you pay, and then you get tired, you're overworked. Especially if you're a nurse, you can easily make mistakes because you're trying to pursue money. So you need to learn to know your limitation, and you need to be very wise with your saving, because like I said, there's no job stability. Sometimes, especially if you don't have your regular job. If you have your regular job, it's very good, because from your regular job, you will get your maternity leave, your pay, or your benefit, and then with the agency work, you can then make extra money. So as I'm a full-time nurse now, I have 3 days off. If I don't have childcare, I can decide to work up to 1 or 2 days extra. So I still have all my benefits with my permanent job, and I'm still going to make extra money from being an agency nurse. So yes, sometimes you can actually do that if you have the power, and then you can try to do it for a few years and then rest, because doing it for too long may be too stressful for you. But the moment you have your indefinite leave or your citizenship, you can decide to even stop working full-time and just go into full-time agency nursing, where you just decide when you want to work. You don't need to rely on anybody's visa, and then you can make more money. As an agency nurse, you need to be ready to work, because when you go to some care homes or you go to a new place, you're the new body, and then they know that you're earning more than them. Because if you come into my home, I know as an agency nurse that you're taking probably double my salary, more, or even more than double my salary. And then sometimes you get people who want to use you, and then after all, you're earning more money, so go and do the work. You understand what I'm saying? But notwithstanding, you're there to work, be ready to work as an agency nurse or as an agency care, and be very careful, because you can also lose your pain as well. Because I got someone who was asking me that question. That is why you need that experience. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to work under pressure. Know your stuff before you just jump because of the money into agency nursing. You need to have practice, and you're very good with your mark sheet, with your medication, with your communication skill, and you're able to familiarize yourself with people. You're friendly, you're open-minded, open to advice, open to correction, open to discipline, and open to correct anything to be a good agency nurse. So now let's get to the juicy part. How much does agency nurses, is that English even correct? How much do agency nurses earn? Do you want to hear? And that's what you're waiting for. So hourly, where you can have full-time nurses earn between 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 pound an hour. An agency nurse can earn from 25, 30, 40, 45, even up to 50 pounds per hour. Depend on the location, depend on the time of the year, depend if it is festive period, you get more money. If you're working in London as an agency nurse, you can earn up to 50 pounds per hour. If even in Scotland, you can earn up to 25, 30, 35, 45 pounds per hour as an agency nurse. And imagine, calculate that amount of money times how many days you're going to be working a week for 1 month. So within a month as an agency nurse, you can earn up to 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, even up to 6,000 pounds a month. Depend on how much you can work and depend on your location. Like I said, like if you're in London and if it is festive period, if you're working in the NHS and you're working on social hours like nights, weekends, you know, you're going to earn more money. So as an agency nurse, you can easily make up to 4,000 a month. Even agency carers can easily make 4,000 a month, because I have some of them that work 6 days, 7 days. As an agency carer, just a quick addition, as an agency carer, they get up to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, up to 25 pounds per hour. And sometimes even a job can be posted and it will start at even 12 pounds. But when they get more desperate, the people that posted the job will begin to increase the money. They can increase it. The same job that started at 12 pounds can end up being 25 pounds before that particular day will come. And that is what they look out for. So many agency nurses and agency carers, they just watch that money grow, and they'll be like, once they are more desperate, the money will go higher, and then that's when they pick the shift. Okay, so yes, depend on when you pick your shift, where the job is, how desperate the employer is. If you're very short and you're like, if you need like 4 nurses and you have only 1, you don't mind paying even 40 pounds. So just to entice people to come and work, you know. So yes, you can make a lot of money. But mind you, they also get their tax deducted. Some pay tax weekly and then some pay monthly. So depend on, you need to just find out how you're going to be paying your tax. And don't worry, the government will do it for you. They will let you know how you need to pay your tax. And if you pay too much as well, you will get your refund at the end of April of every year. So yeah, that is almost everything about agency nursing, agency caring, and agency work in general in the UK. So if you're interested in being an agency nurse, there are so many agents out there that are ready to employ you. They'll be so happy to have you. And I wish you good luck in all your endeavor. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I hope you've learned something. If yes, please like, drop a comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, see you.